Despite its mythological name, Camelot Elementary School is not an ancient land of make-believe. It is a place where students get real-world experiences that prepare them for the future. Ever since the school opened in 1969, Camelot, along with being a general education elementary school, also has been a center for many of Fairfax County's deaf and hard of hearing population.
Students come to us from all over Fairfax County who are hearing impaired. In other words, they hear with augmentation, they hear with hearing aids, they hear with FM systems, and they receive special instructions in order to help them learn.
Each of the county's 3 centers for students with hearing disabilities has a different approach to education. Center Principal Donna Grossman explains Camelot's.
We are the auditory oral program, and therefore we stress the listening skills, going through the auditory channel to get information, and developing spoken language.
You can't move your mouth.
The combination of an elementary school and a special education center in one building make for a wonderfully sensible fit.
The center has always been made to feel very much a part of everything that goes on here at the elementary school. We view ourselves as one school. Center teachers and elementary school teachers all attend the staff meetings. We all participate in the activities.
Grossman adds that the school's physical design and classroom layout and the administrative structure contribute to this synergy.
The teachers in the center are part of the grade level teams. The school is organized into pods, and the center is not located in one part of the school. Each class is located in that grade level pod. So there's a self-contained center class and the general education classes. And this allows for mainstreaming where it is appropriate.
Mainstreaming is an important part of the educational plan for students from the center. It means that they're increasingly included in general education classes in preparation for assignment to the school in their neighborhood. The Camelot Center offers schooling for hearing impaired children beginning at age 2.
Should I go as a gingerbread person?
This preschool class is composed largely of students with hearing impairments, but because part of the strategy of the auditory oral approach is modeling, a small number of the toddlers have normal hearing and act as speech and language models. Today, the preschoolers are getting a visit from their buddies, 3rd graders who visit and work with the toddlers. In one of the 2nd grade classrooms, Alyssa Lear is settling into her 2nd year in the mainstream.
When my daughter came to Camelot, she was 2 years old and entered the preschool program. And I was struck with the dedication of the professionals that are here, the caring that they give to the children, and also the caring that they give to the families, which is very important at the time when you are dealing with a small child who's been diagnosed with hearing loss.
For Rebecca, she's able to fit into my classroom and to work on those activities, all of our activities, without having more individualized support. So she's able to work in the large group.
In the oral and auditory approach used at Camelot, students with hearing impairments use a variety of methods to catch everything the teacher is saying. Carol Fischer, a teacher of the hearing impaired, says the methods range from low to high tech.
They're using lip reading, they're using their auditory skills. I mean, they're wearing hearing aids, they're wearing this FM, but they have to work hard at using those things, and you need to make some adaptations to help them during the academic day. And so it would be repeating things like that. You might be showing captions, making sure your television is captioned so that if you're showing any videos that they are captioned so they have the print support. Lots of things like that.
The FM systems isolate and amplify a teacher's voice.
They all have their personal FMs, their FM systems, which are connected to one microphone depending on what color bar they have, which puts them on different frequencies. Each teacher in the 6th grade has their own microphone with their own color. And when they switch classes, they switch the bar so that in each class they can hear that teacher clearly.
And every teacher at the school, even those teaching general ed, uses the mic system. 6th graders at Camelot prepare for middle school by switching classrooms for math, social studies, and language arts. In Jean Foster's social studies class, students use adaptive technology to share information.
This morning we were drawing something called jigsawing. It was the first time we had done it. We had formed expert groups, and the kids became familiar with one part of the northern colonies, and then they had to break into their jigsaw groups and explain to all the other students in their group the part they had learned. So they were like little experts teaching the rest of them.
Students use the FM system to share knowledge with their groups.
The Algonquin villages had 50 to 200
Foster
people.
believes that including hearing-impaired students in her class makes her a better teacher.
It's been very helpful for me as a teacher to be able to work with the special education teachers in a close way. In the 6th grade, we're very lucky because we do mainstream all the hearing-impaired students, so our hearing-impaired teacher is able to work with the mainstream student, or the regular ed students also. And it's just made for a really good team.
Is pages 212.
In Erica Skalar's 6th grade math classroom, like every other classroom, a sound-filled system is used to make sure students can clearly hear an instructor. But Erica and others also incorporate other adaptations.
I make sure that I never speak to the students when I'm facing the blackboard. I make sure that if I'm going to talk to them that they're watching me so that they know that I am talking. I also make sure that every question that a student asks, I repeat so that everybody understands what was said.
And the reinforced sound benefits students without hearing impairments.
It's a lot easier to hear since, well, when we didn't have them, the teachers would have to talk louder, and whenever we'd start to talk louder, they'd have to like raise their voice, but now it's a lot better.
Some of Skalar's students wear a state-of-the-art hearing augmentation device called a cochlear implant.
Something relatively new in the world of the deaf is the cochlear implant. And this is a device which is surgically implanted into the inner ear, or the cochlea, of the wearer. It replaces the damaged hair cells or the inner ear cells which transmit a message to the brains. So it's actually bringing hearing to people who did not have it before. And it can be quite miraculous.
Students with hearing impairments are an important part of the Camelot experience, and they, along with their general education peers, are served well in the school's sensible and inclusive setting.
I think the social aspect is just as important as the academic aspect of mainstreaming and inclusion.
It's kind of fun to be with the deaf and hearing at the same time, so I can learn what it's like.
They're regular students first, and they may have disabilities, but that shouldn't impinge on their social being or in the way that they learn.
We feel that it is important to include children in the real world because that's where they'll be living for all of their lives. So we want them to have the opportunity to participate as much as possible in real life situations.
Some shoes? Wait, sure. I'll put it.